Hello everyone, welcome to Research Made Easy. In this channel, we simplify the research process and experiences for our audience. We'll take you one step at a time from the moment you write your proposal until you complete your final thesis. To keep track of our content, please like and subscribe. There are a variety of approaches to research in any field. Each research study will be unique in some ways because of the particular time, settings, environment, and place it's being undertaken. The research might be in the field of medicine, marketing, economy, or even an educational field. So the research process consists of a series of systematic procedures that a researcher must go through in order to generate new knowledge that will be considered valuable by the project and focus on the relevant topic. So, what are the common steps in all research fields that a researcher must go through in order to generate a complete, reliable research? This is why we're here. Let's go through those steps together. The first and most important step is to identify the research problem. This problem will be the core of your research topic. However, many factors must be considered while choosing a research problem. First, the research problem must be interesting to the researcher. Also, the research problem must be considered to be aligned with the expertise and experience of the researcher. Third and most important, the researcher must consider if the research problem is a researchable or a non-researchable problem. To understand the difference, keep watching this series. After identifying which problem that interests you to study, you need to conduct a thorough literature review. A review of the relevant literature is an integral part of the research process. It's a thorough examination of the relevant studies to the intended problem, and it's an essential step. The literature search will help the researcher expand his knowledge on the area of the problem to be studied, and it will expose the researcher to more significant body of knowledge. In this body of knowledge, the researcher will review previous research on the topic, what is known, what is unknown, which will help the researcher build consistency between the intended research that will be conducted and other researchers' work. By this, researchers could fit his research into the previous existing body of knowledge while avoiding duplication. Another advantage is to be familiar with the methods used in previous research and variables considered. It will also help understand controversies, contradictions, and inconsistencies in previous findings, which might be a good area for further study. By this, the researcher will be able to identify a research gap. After reviewing the body of knowledge and being familiar with what could be a good research question based on the literature gap, the researcher will proceed to formulate a research question that delineates what exactly will be researched. The research will identify the type of information that will be researched in his objectives, which will set a ground for the framework and scope of the study. This might also help the researcher to identify the hypothesis. For more on this, keep watching this series. After you have outlined your research question, you need to plan the design of your research. This will be the blueprint to fulfill your research objectives and answering the research question. Let's say it's the master plan that specifies the methods and procedures for collecting, processing, and analyzing the collected data. So, what exactly do we mean by methods and design? The researcher will decide if the research will be quantitative or qualitative in nature. If qualitative, the researcher will focus on opinions, values, and characteristics that cannot be counted. If quantitative, it will focus on statistics, facts, and values that can be counted. We'll come more on this in the next videos. In the fifth step, the researcher is clear on the methods that will be used. So now the researcher needs to describe the target population. He must consider the sample size, the sampling method, and the population that is the target of his research. In the sixth step, the researcher will collect the data based on the methods that were chosen earlier. For example, qualitative methods include interviews, observations, or questionnaires, while quantitative methods include data that are presented in numbers, whether they were surveys or sales numbers. The data will be analyzed according to the type. For example, you can analyze qualitative data through coding, while quantitative data are statistically analyzed. Coming to the final step of the research process, after the researcher has completed the data analysis, the final step would be to do a report writing to report the research findings. So, those are the research process steps. In the upcoming videos, we'll help you identify what are the research terms like research question, objectives, research gap, methods, or much more. Also, we will dive into understanding different research designs, methods, how to conduct a literature search, and what components to cover while writing your research proposal or final thesis. To catch up on our next videos, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching the video.